You ever feel like your happiness is kind of held hostage by other people or just, bad luck? Well, what if I told you that you've had the keys the entire time? Today, we're jumping into Dr. Wayne Dyer's incredible book, Your Erroneous Zones. Think of it as a guide to taking back control of your emotional life by finding and fixing the little errors in our own thinking. Dyer loved this quote, and it's the perfect place for us to start. It gets right to the heart of the matter. Our lives, how we feel, our whole reality, it isn't really shaped by what happens to us. It's shaped by the choices we make on the inside in response to it. So to really get a grip on this, here's how we're going to break it down. We'll kick things off by figuring out what these erroneous zones even are. Then we'll get into the power of choice and tackle some of the biggest offenders: self-doubt, needing approval, and of course, guilt and worry. And we'll wrap it all up with a totally new way of looking at happiness. All right, first things first, what are we even talking about here? Erroneous zones. It sounds a little mysterious, doesn't it? But the concept is actually super simple. Yeah, so an erroneous zone isn't some physical place you can visit. It's a mental habit. It's a bad thought pattern we've picked up somewhere along the way. Basically, it's any belief that makes us feel bad, gets us stuck, and stops us from feeling joy in the only moment that's actually real, right now. So, if we've got these mental bad habits, how do we fix them? Well, this leads us to the absolute core of Dyer's entire philosophy. This is the one tool you have that can take apart every single erroneous zone. We've all heard this, right? Maybe we've even said it. We're sort of taught that our feelings are just these automatic things that happen to us. Somebody is rude to you, you feel angry. Somebody criticizes you, you feel hurt. It's like we're just along for the ride on some emotional roller coaster we can't control. But Dyer says, nope, that's just not true. He argues every single feeling you experience starts with a thought. And here's the game changer. You can choose your thoughts. You aren't just your nature. You are the grand total of every choice you've made up to this very second. And the best part? You can start making new choices right now. And this shows the shift perfectly. Over on the left, you've got the blame mindset. That's where you give all your power away. But on the right, you have the responsibility mindset. Now, this isn't about blaming yourself, not at all. It's about empowering yourself. It's about realizing that you're the one who decides how to react to things. You get to choose. Okay, let's tackle the first major erroneous zone, and wow, is it a big one. Let's talk about self-doubt, that nasty habit of putting ourselves down and basically rejecting the only person we're ever going to be. So this is a question Dyer got constantly. We live in a culture that sometimes tells us focusing on ourselves is arrogant or, selfish, but Dyer just flips this whole idea completely on its head. This just turns the whole idea of selfishness around. I mean, think about it. The person who doesn't like themselves is always needing other people to fill them up, to make them happy. They can be a real drain on everyone's energy. But a person who has real self-acceptance, they know how to create their own joy. They're a pleasure to be around. So in the end, loving yourself isn't selfish at all. It might just be the greatest gift you can give to everyone else. We do this all the time, right? We trap ourselves with these labels. We say, I am shy, as if it's some permanent part of our DNA. But Dwyer would say, no. That's just a history of you choosing shy behaviors. The moment you drop the I am label and see it as a choice, you suddenly have the freedom to choose differently next time. All right, next step, a trap that gets almost everybody. The obsessive, constant need for other people's approval. Dyer makes a really critical distinction here. There's a huge difference between wanting approval and needing it. Wanting it? Totally normal. It feels good when people like us. But needing it, that's the erroneous zone. Because when you need it, you're saying, your opinion about me is more important than my own. You've just handed someone else the remote control to your own happiness. I love this analogy. It just puts everything into perspective, doesn't it? In politics, a massive, overwhelming victory means you still have almost half the people who disagree with you. Disagreement is the norm. So why do we tie ourselves in knots expecting every single person in our lives to approve of every single thing we do? It's just an impossible goal. Okay, let's talk about two of the most useless emotions that exist. They're really just two sides of the same coin: guilt and worry. And all they do is steal the only time we actually have. This slide just lays it out so clearly. Guilt is being mentally stuck in the past while you're physically in the present. And worry is being mentally stuck in the future while you're physically in the present. Either way, they're robbing you of your now. Feeling guilty can't change the past, and worrying can't control the future. And here is the beautiful, simple logic to break that worry habit. First, know what it is you're worried about. Then, ask yourself one simple question. Do I have any control over this? If the answer is no, then worrying is literally pointless. Let it go. If the answer is yes, then great. Get to work and take action. Either way, the act of worrying itself is a complete waste of your energy. So this all leads us to our final and maybe the most powerful idea in the whole book. It's about completely reframing what we even think happiness is. Dyer tells this great story about a famous historian, Will Durant. This guy spent his life chasing happiness in all the big things, knowledge, money, fame, and he just kept coming up empty. Then one day, he finally saw it, and it wasn't in some grand achievement. It was in the simplest, most ordinary moment imaginable. Just a family sharing a quiet, loving moment at a train station. And this just nails the entire point. Happiness isn't a destination. It's not something you arrive at once you get the job or meet the person or fix all your problems. Happiness is the way you choose to travel. It's a choice you make moment by moment in how you decide to live your life. Just like Durant found out, there's a little bit of joy hidden in all the normal parts of life. So the final question is really for you. It's not about waiting for something big to happen to make you happy. It's about deciding where, in the ordinary, everyday moments of your life today, where are you going to choose to find that delight?